Hey guys, today I'm talking about how to introduce yourself in French. Learning how to meet, greet, and acquaint yourself with other people is an essential skill in any language. French is no exception. By learning just a few simple words and phrases, you can start introducing yourself to French speakers and forming cross-language friendships. In addition, familiarizing yourself with the basics of French etiquette can help you avoid an embarrassing faux pas during those crucial first impressions. Here are two methods. Method 1. Basic introduction. First, use the right salutation for the time of day. Salutations are words like hi and hello. These are simple sayings used right when you meet someone. There are many salutations in French, just like in English. Below are the few of the most common: bonjour, hello, good day, bonsoir, good evening, bonne nuit, good night. You can use bonjour in nearly all situations, so it's a good one to memorize. The others are only used later in the day. Second, if you are on close terms, use salut instead. This is an informal greeting. It's a little like hi or hey in English. It's perfectly fine to use this around friends, family members, and children, but you probably won't want to use it for a new boss or professor. This can be disrespectful. State your name. After the salutation, you can let the other person know who you are. Again, there are a few different ways to do this, which are listed below. Only use the informal options for friends, family members, and children, and so on. Je m'appelle Stan. My name is Stan. Je suis Stan. I am Stan. Moi, c'est Stan. I'm Stan. Informal. Another informal action is to simplify say your name after salutations are exchanged. This is a little like saying, hi Emily, if your name's Emily, as you shake someone's hand. 4. Listen to the other person's introduction, then offer a pleasantry. In English, when you meet someone, you usually end your introduction with nice to meet you, it's a pleasure, or another similar phrase. French is no different. Use the phrases below to show you are happy to make someone's acquaintance. Ravi de vous connaître. Pleased to meet you. Ravi de vous rencontrer. Nice to meet you. Enchanté. Delighted. If the other person says one of these first, use the même or same to you. Method 2. Starting a conversation. First, mention where you're from. This is one of the most common questions asked among people meeting for the first time. Since you are not a French speaker, the person you're talking to will probably be even more interested to learn your origins. Use one of the phrases below. J'habite à Taipei. I live in Taipei. Je vis à Taipei. I live in Taipei. Je suis de Taipei. I'm from Taipei. Put the name of your city, state, or country in the blank. For example, if you are from the US, you might say, Je suis des États-Unis. If appropriate, mention how old you are. This isn't always a topic of conversation that will come up, but if a young man meeting people who are older than you, it's nice to know how to say. Use the easy phrase below. J'ai 18 ans. I'm 18 years old. Put the number of years old you are in the blank. Third, introduce other people with you. Being able to introduce other people is almost as important as being able to introduce yourself, especially if they are not great French speakers. Use the phrases below to make introduction between people you know and people you don't. Je vous présenterai Amy. I present you, Amy. Voici Amy. Here is Amy. After you say someone's name, you may want to describe your relationship with this person in a few words. For instance, you might say, Voici Emma, ma femme. Here is Emma, my wife. 4. Ask a few basic questions. Once introductions are out of the way, the conversation itself can commence. Below are just a few basic questions you may want to have ready. You don't need to be perfectly fluent to show your interest in learning more about the person you're meeting. Comment vous appelez-vous? What is your name? D'où êtes-vous? Where are you from? Quelle est votre profession? What do you do for a living? Comment allez-vous? How are you? How to act French. Wherever you are visiting France or just want to give up a French vibe, acting French takes work. You have to learn a few phrases and adopt a sense of the culture. Learning to dress French, greet people like you are French, and eat and drink like your friends. With a little work and diligence, you can adapt to French culture with ease. Here are 4 methods. Method 1. Learning some French phrases. First, use bonjour to greet people. In France, it's customary to greet others with a friendly bonjour. Bonjour is used to say hello to friends and family, and it's pronounced bonjour. However, it is also used with strangers. It's customary to say bonjour when entering a shop. Shop assistants in France aren't as into small talk as the ones in the United States. Usually, a brief bonjour is all you get upon entering. It's considered rude not to return a greeting. Do not say hello instead of bonjour. Even if you feel your accent isn't great yet, French prefer people who make an effort to speak their language. Second, say sympa as a compliment. Used especially in Paris, sympa is the slang form of sympathetic. It's pronounced sympa. Sympathetic means nice, and the term sympa is a way to casually appreciate a person, place, or thing without being too mushy or emotional. For example, say someone asks you, "How was your flight?" Answer with sympa. People, if you want to seem French at home, drop in an occasional sympa in front of friends and family members. Thank people by saying merci. Manners are important in French culture, so make sure to drop the word merci when appropriate. This is the French form of thank you and is used to show gratitude in a variety of situations. You can say merci if someone gives you direction or holds a doctor for you. It's also used to say goodbye to a shopkeeper after making a purchase. When saying merci, place more emphasis on the first syllable than the second. 4. Use excusez-moi and pardon when you bump into someone. If you're visiting France, especially a crowded city like Paris, you are bound to bump into people on the street and the metro. In such a situation, the words excusez-moi and pardon both essentially means excuse me. As French people value good manners, do not neglect to use them if you want to act French. Excusez-moi is roughly pronounced as excusez-moi. Pardon is pronounced similar to English, but the O is pronounced making a distinct or sound rather than the English sound. 5. Order food by saying je voudrais. Food is a huge part of French culture. When ordering at a restaurant, you can look more French by ordering using the language rather than simply pointing at the menu. Start with je voudrais, which means I would like, then say the item on the menu you are ordering. Je voudrais is roughly pronounced je voudrais. Don't worry too much if you are unsure how to pronounce a menu item. French people will understand your accent is not exact, but will appreciate you trying to speak their language. 6. Say pro-French phrases. If you want to make French people happy, learn a variety of pro-French phrases. You can add this to conversation occasionally or use them to convey you're having a good time on your trip. J'adore Paris means I love Paris. This is pronounced by j'adore Paris. If you are enjoying your food at a restaurant, say la cuisine française est la meilleure du monde. This means French food is the best food in the world. It's roughly pronounced la cuisine française est la meilleure du monde. 7. Say goodbye like you're French. A simple au revoir is an easy way to say goodbye. Most people, even outside of France, are familiar with the term. However, there are a few other terms you can use to say goodbye. A more informal goodbye is salut. You can use this with closer friends. It's pronounced salut. If it's later in the evening, Try and say bonne nuit. This means good night and is typically used when people are going to sleep or going home for the evening. It's pronounced bonne nuit. Method 2. Practicing French customs. First, greet people like you are French. When meeting someone for the first time, a casual handshake is appropriate. However, if you are meeting a closer friend or relative, French people usually offer a small peck on the cheek as a form of greeting. Follow these rules when greeting people in France. If you are trying to give off a French vibe at home, try greeting friends and family members with a kiss like they do in France. Stick to people you are close with. However, as people from non-French culture may be startled by the cheek kiss. Second, converse about culture and politics. In France, conversation usually revolves around art, culture, and politics. Read local magazines, local news, as well as international news. This way, you will have something to talk about that makes you seem more French. To make it easier to keep up with the news, download an app on your phone that lets you read the headlines during downtimes during the day. Don't hesitate to bring out your favorite books and works of art. This will make you seem considerably more French. Avoid topics like gossip, especially celebrity gossip, as it seems as largely uninteresting in French. Make small talk at café and on train. Small talk is not a huge part of French culture, but is occasionally considered appropriate. If someone is making eye contact with you while you are eating alone, don't hesitate to strike out a conversation. During train delays, it's not uncommon for French people to commiserate with one another by casually complaining about the train. 4. Respect people's personal space. Personal space is a pretty big issue in France. Avoid touching or bump into people unnecessarily and try to keep your hands to yourself as much as possible when riding on crowded trains. This rule is especially important if you are actually in France as opposed to trying to look French at home. Method 3. Dressing like you are French. First, go for the fit and comfort shoes. A common outfit worn around Paris is a simple pair of levis, a casual top, and comfort shoes. This is the standard look for the summer months and is bound to make you fit in when traveling France. And this is not considered a conventional French look outside France. Dressing like this may not be the best means to act French at home. Stick to casual top, such as a t-shirt or button-down shirt. Second, stick to mostly business casual attire. Business casual attire is also appropriate most of the year in France. For example, opt for dress pants and a button-down suit. You can also try a nice blouse and a skirt or business casual dress to give off the French vibe. 3. Wear a peacoat and scarf in the winter. In the winter months, scarves are a staple of the French style. For an extra French look, pair off a scarf with a nice peacoat. This will keep you warm, but still give off a distinctly French style. These are generally worn by both men and women. This is a good look to appear French at home. Make sure your peacoat and scarf match. For example, wear a grey plaid scarf with a grey peacoat. 4. Avoid shirts. Shirts are rarely worn in France, even when it's hot outside. If you want to look French, avoid sporting a pair of shorts. Stick to lighter pants, a dress, or a skirt if it's unbearably hot outside. Method 4. Eating and drinking like you're French. First, eat small portions. Portions are generally smaller in France. When having dinner, lunch, or snacks, stick to tiny portions of vegetables, fruits, meats, and other dishes. Eating small, delicate meals will really give off the French vibe. French portions are typically around 25% smaller than American portions. Try to cut back on your usual intake of food by about a quarter to seem French. Second, eat breakfast like you are French. In France, breakfast is usually eaten with coffee or on the lighter side. Pastries and breads topped up with jam are typically eaten at breakfast in France. Croissants are a particularly popular breakfast item. breakfasts tend to be very small. A very traditional French breakfast would be a single croissant dipped in a cup of coffee. Third, have a French-inspired lunch. Lunch in France usually starts around 11 a.m. What you have for lunch depends on your mood and appetite. You can eat a larger meal at a restaurant or have something light at home. In a light appetite like soup or veg salad first, French salads usually only consist of 1 or 2 types of vegetables, such as asparagus and leafy greens. Meat or fish with vegetables on the side is a typically entry. Simple sandwich made with baguette and stuck with things like ham and cheese are also popular. If you want a light dessert, go for something like fruit tart. 4. Enjoy dinner with a drink and light appetizer. Dinner is typically eaten with an alcoholic beverage and light appetizer before the main course. Dinner is meant to be a relaxing affair to be enjoyed slowly and savored. So take your time eating dinner. Nuts, leaves, and fruits are typical appetizer, often eaten with champagne. Meals are usually started with soup or salad. The entry depends on the region and ranges from meat dishes to pastas. Things like fish cooked in butter and spice and light pasta with greens and eggs are popular in France. A light dessert such as cheese board is usually served after dinner. 5. Order French coffee drinks. Coffee is a staple of French culture. However, coffee is served differently than it is in the United States. Rather than a simple cup of coffee, opt for one of the following options. Order a small espresso for classic coffee. You can also try a double espresso. A café allongé is an espresso served in a larger cup with hot water.
Hello everyone, I'm Andy. I'm going to talk about some tips about manage your money when you study abroad as an exchange student. Maybe someone will think this tips is not useful, or someone may already heard this before, but after listen to these tips I will share you later, maybe you will get more ideas about how to manage your money or how to make more money when you study abroad. So please listen carefully to me. And by the way, I never found this kind of video before, so it definitely will have a lot of mistakes. I will very appreciate you guys if you can forgive me for these mistakes. Thank you. Okay, my topic is how to make money during a semester abroad. Studying abroad is a great experience, but it can really stretch your budget. Unfortunately, we have done some research and found that the simplest way to get a reliable source of income while abroad is to find a paid opportunity like an internship or a work abroad program. You can also look to less conventional opportunities like tutoring or working an online job. Make sure your budget along the way to maximize your funds. Hopefully, your experience abroad won't only be inspiring but good for your wallet too. Now I'm going to share some tips with you. These tips contain 3 methods, and each method have some points or important steps that you should remember carefully. Okay, method 1, finding paid opportunities. Point 1, apply for a paid internship. While most internships are not paid, there are some that will give you a stipend to help pay your bills or offset the cost of traveling abroad. There are even internships that provide housing, which can be huge help financially. These positions are usually highly sought after, but are applied for just as unpaid internships are. So if you are highly qualified, a paid internship may be right for you. If you are interested in getting a paid internship, you will need to find some to apply for. You can do an internet search or internships that are available to you, but you may also be able to consult with your school study abroad program to see if they know of any that are available. A paid internship may require a work visa, but these programs usually make that arrangement. And the second point, sign up for a work abroad program. If you do not have the financial ability to pay for a traditional study abroad program, you may be able to find a work abroad program instead. These programs are usually seasonal, so they can be great for making money and getting an experience abroad during summer break. Some common jobs that are offered in a work abroad program include being an au pair or teaching English. A work abroad program will require a work visa, but programs designed for foreigners usually make those arrangements. Point 3. Apply for a work visa. There are some countries that will allow you to work while studying abroad if you apply for a work visa. Whether or not you are granted a work visa will depend on the country you are going to, the study program you are doing, and the length of time you are staying, which in most cases needs to be at least 6 months. Some countries that do grant work visas include the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, France, Germany, and Spain. However, there are a lot of limitations placed on the amount and type of work you can do while a study abroad student. Work visas require a fee and application process. Do some research about how much a work visa costs in the country you are going to and assess whether you meet their requirements. For instance, in the UK, you will need to pay a fee of $328 to apply for a Tier 4 student visa. In the application, you will need to guarantee that you can write, read, and speak English, that you can afford to stay in the country without a job, and that you are enrolled in approved courses. Once you get a work visa, you will still need to apply for and get a job once you are abroad. Okay. Method 2. Finding new ways to make money. Point 1. Find an online job. While you are abroad, it may be a good idea to find some income by doing work online. There are many jobs these days that you can do from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. With an online job, you can both make money while abroad, and you can usually create your own schedule, which works well with a student's schedule. Some jobs that can be done online exclusively include writing, graphic design, virtual assistant, and creating your own online business. In order to find an online job, you should do an online search for jobs in your desired field. Try going to websites that are specifically designed to list part-time and flexible jobs. And point 2, work as a tutor. If you are planning on studying abroad, you may be able to work at the school you are going to. This could include working for the actual school as a tutor or working under the table as a tutor for other students who need some assistance. In many cases, there will be people in a community that you are moving into that may be interested in getting English tutoring or lessons. Point 3. Consider personal fundraising. When studying abroad, you may need to rely on others to help you financially. This could be in the form of fundraising from family and friends, or going to organizations or individuals in your community that would want to invest in your particular study program or schooling outcome. One way to let others know that you need their financial help and what you will use any funds that give you for this is to create an online fundraising campaign. With an online fundraising campaign, you can make a video that will outline why you are studying abroad and why you think others should support you financially. If you are doing a study abroad program with a clear educational or job goal at the end of it, you may be able to find an organization or individual that is willing to invest in your future. For example, your local chamber of commerce or city hall may be willing to invest in your future if you have been an active part of your community. Okay, method 3, maybe the most practical method among these 3 tips, is reducing your spending. Point 1. Make a budget. Before you go on a semester abroad, you should make a budget for the amount of money you have and how long you will be gone. Making a budget requires that you have a general understanding of costs in the country you are going to, and that you know what will and won't be covered by the tuition costs you pay up front. When making a budget, it is a good idea to have a little bit of wiggle room by allocating emergency funds if you can. If you budget down to the last penny, you may end up with unexpected costs that you can't cover. Point 2. Take location into consideration. In many cases, you will be able to live on less than you do at home. This is especially true if you are doing a study abroad program in a smaller city or a country with a low cost of living. If you are coming from a country that has a high standard of living and the money has a high value, then you may be able to live on less when you are abroad. However, the opposite can be true as well. If you are used to a low cost of living and you are going to a place with a high cost of living, such as London or New York, then you will need to take that into consideration. Your money will not go as far as it would at home. One thing to do while preparing for your trip is to look at the exchange rate of the currency between your home and where you are visiting. If your currency is strong compared to the currency you are exchanging for, then it will help you financially when you travel, because your money will go further. Okay, the last point, reduce your costs, making change to your individual habits, preferences, and travel choices while you are abroad can dramatically decrease the cost of living abroad. Consider abandoning your normal luxurious while you are abroad and instead try to live frugally. For example, this could include avoiding buying new clothes or accessories, eating homemade food more often, or traveling via the cheapest methods. If you cut down on your costs, then you can cut down on your need to make money while abroad. Okay, these three methods are all I want to share with you. I hope you can more or less benefit from these tips or important points I told you. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Christie. Today I'm going to talk about how to write Chinese calligraphy. I will introduce the tools we need first. There are usually 5 things we need in writing. The first one is the Chinese brush. It is the pen we use in writing. There are many kinds of brushes. Big one, small one, and the soft one, and the hard one. Also, they are made of different materials. Some of them are made of wolf hair, while some of them are made of goat or rabbit hair. Different materials have different materials fit different style of writing. The wolf hair brush is more flexible, so it is used to write cursive script, 草书. And the goat hair brush is less flexible, so it is used to write clerical script, 隶书. There is a more common brush, which is the combination of wolf and goat hair, and it is used to write regular script, 楷书. Then the second one is ink. In the past, people usually use ink stick. This one is ink stick. Use ink stick to grind ink in the ink stone. However, people nowadays think that it takes time to grind ink, so most of them choose to use bottle ink, which can be directly used in writing. The third one is ink stone. This is the vessel we pour the ink in. Most of them are made of stone, but sometimes we can use a small plate. And the fourth one is rice paper. This paper is not like the common paper we use in daily writing. The paper is thinner and rougher. The most expensive one can cost 1,700 RMB. The last one is paperweight. This thing is used to press the paper in order to make sure the paper would not move. And also this can make sure the paper be flat enough to write. And this one also has a function that people can put the pen on it in order to make sure that the brush won't roll and mess up the paper. Because if the brush is put like this, the brush will roll on the paper and the paper will be messed up. Okay, above are the short introduction of the calligraphy. Now let's cut to the chase. The first step, prepare the tools mentioned above: the ink, inkstone, rice paper, brush, and the paper weight. I will usually put the clothes on the table, this black one. This can avoid messing up the table. The second step, soak the brush into a cup of water. This is called 润笔 in Chinese. And you have to make sure the head of the pen, the brush, is tapered like this. And the third step, hold the brush in your hand with the thumb, index finger, and middle finger like this. And the last two fingers put by the other side. And the fourth step, dip the ink stick in water and grind against the inkstone until the ink has an oily consistency. Or you can also use the bottle ink like me and pour them into the inkstone. And the fifth step, soak the brush into the ink. Remember, it is important to soak it completely. These are the preparations for writing calligraphy. Now, I'm going to show you how to write the 8 principles of 永字八法. This explains how to write the 8 strokes common in Chinese characters found all in the one character of 永. It is believed that the frequent practice of these principles as a beginner calligrapher could ensure the beauty in one's writing. And the 8 principles of 永 are: dot. This means the tiny dash. Horizontal, rightward stroke. Vertical, downward stroke. Hook, appended to other strokes, going down or going left only. Rise, flick up and rightwards. Bend, usually concave on the left. Throw away. This means falling leftwards with slight curve, not very curved. And the press down, falling rightwards, flattening at the bottom. These are the 8 principles: dot, horizontal, vertical, hook, rise, bend, throw away, and press down. The 8 principles of 永 are: dot, 点, horizontal, 横, vertical, 竖, hook, 钩, rise, 提, bend, 弯, throw away, 撇, press down, 捺. The dot is mean that the tiny dash is like this one, and the horizontal its main rightward stroke is this one. There are two kinds of horizontal. This is the short one and this is the long one with the curve. And the vertical, downward stroke. And the hook, appended to other strokes, going down or going left only. And the rise, flick up and rightwards, is like this. From the left down side to the right up. And the bend, usually concave on the left, and the throw away, falling leftwards with side curve, not very curved like this one. And the last one, press down, falling rightwards, flattening at the bottom like this. And this one here is the flat. These are the 8 principles of Yong, and the Yong is like this. The dot, horizontal, vertical, hook, rise, bend, throw away, and the press down. This is the Yong, and these are the basic words for learning the calligraphy. At the end, I want to show you the different style of writing. The most common ones are cursive script, clerical script, regular script, and running script. In Chinese, the cursive script is called 草书, clerical script is called 隶书, regular script is called 楷书, and the last one, running script, is called 行书. The first one appeared is clerical script, 隶书, in the Qing dynasty. And the 隶书clerical script is like this one. You have to write really slow, and the characteristics of clerical script is that the horizontal, the end of the horizontal will be like up at the end. People think that it takes time, so they want to make it more convenient. Then the cursive script appeared. Cursive script is really messy. Most of people can understand what it is meaning because it is like this. Yes, this is the Chinese, but we have to see the translation so we can understand what it is in the script. But this is one of the most I like the style of writing in the calligraphy. And the cursive script changed into regular script and running script. The running script is set between the regular script and the cursive script. It is not too hard for people to understand, but sometimes it is hard to know what the word is. And the most famous one is Wang Xizhi. The running script is like this. You can still understand the word, but sometimes it is really hard to understand. And nowadays, we write the word is like the regular script. Every word is clear, and every